Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here, hanging out with my daughter. My daughter decided to take me to lunch, and so I want to talk to you all about Capital One, okay? And so here we're in front of the Capital One. This is the Capital One Cafe, right? And so here's the thing about it that people don't understand about the Capital One. I'm gonna sit right here and talk to you guys. So here's the thing about it with Capital One, especially when you have challenging credit. With Capital One, most people know them as a problem maker, right? I look at them as a problem solver. And the reason I'm saying that is because most of the time when people have challenging credit and they can't get a credit card, Capital One's usually stepping in to offer them the opportunity, right? And so what I'm going to share with you in terms of this here strategy, this is the strategy that most people could leverage off of, however, they never heard of before, all right? And so that's the reason I'm in front of this Capital One cafe, because you can go in here, you can have lunch, you can do your banking and stuff like that. But the cool part about it with Capital One, the credit cards you want to go for when you have bad credit, especially if you're trying to get up to $15,000 out of Capital One, the credit cards that you want to go for is the Saver One credit card, all right? And the reason is because all you need is a 580 credit score. However, it gets better. Again, like I said, because I'm gonna tell you the hack to get the increase. Also, how to prep your file as well. Now, another card that you may want to look at is the Capital One Platinum. Okay. Now, the Capital One Saver card will give you a higher limit than the Capital One Platinum. However, let's go a little further. You want both of those cards. However, there is one other card that you want, okay? And that's the Capital One Spark Classic Business Card. Yes, you can get all three cards with Capital One, all right? Now, the reason that you want all three of those cards because you have bad credit. All you need is a 580 credit score. Here's the key to being able to get the higher limits. Most people, they would accept just whatever Capital One gives them, all right? And if you don't have a relationship with them and stuff like that, of course, you know, it is what it is. However, I always tell people, when you have bad credit, the best thing you can do, especially like when you're looking at credit cards like with Capital One, is to be able to lock up your credit file, all right? Now, most people think that Capital One always pulls all three credit bureaus. That's not true. They do not always pull all three credit bureaus. You can actually lock up one of your credit bureaus. Mostly I tell people lock up your Equifax, okay? And then they would only pull from your Experian and TransUnion. The key to this, okay, so that you understand, is that what happens is most time when you have a very challenging credit score and you're trying to get a higher limit credit card, they're going to always focus on the lowest credit score, all right? So then I would tell you, look at which credit bureau has the highest credit score, and then the other credit bureau that has the lowest, lock up that file so they can't get access to that file. They're not going to deny you, okay, because of that. Now, the things that they would deny you for, okay, the information that you put on the application, okay? So they will do a soft pull as well, all right? And so when they're doing that soft pull, they want to make sure that you are actually, excuse me, you have a lot of people walking around out here at the mall. What it is, they're making sure that the address on the application is matching the databases they're actually looking at without doing the hard pull. So they may take a look at the third-party credit bureaus and the third-party credit bureaus. And so most of the time they're looking to see if you're currently in a bankruptcy. Now, one of the things that Capital One does that a lot of these institutions won't do if you burn them is Capital One will give you second and third chances. So let's just say that you had an account with Capital One in the past, and so by you having an account with Capital One in the past, you messed that account up. However, if that account it's over 12 months charge off, they may still allow you to qualify for a new card. All right, and I've seen several of my clients actually do this. Okay, so that's the reason I'm telling you this. Now, another thing is in terms of the hack. Well, I was talking about the relationship. All right, with Capital One, here's something that people will say, oh, just go and increase your income. All right, they'll tell you to increase your income after 6 months and increase your and lower your rent to get a higher limit increase on your credit card. However, the best way for you to get a higher limit increase and to get multiple credit cards with Capital One is open up a checking account. Okay, open up a checking and a savings account. All right, trust me, this happens. When you open up that checking and savings account and you've been banking with them, you will get higher limits than somebody that's just coming in, although you have bad credit, because you're actually banking with them. All right, now that's one hack. Another hack is that with Capital One, one of the better things that you can do is, like with your Credit Karma, you can go over there and you can dispute your TransUnion, and you can dispute your Equifax, right? So disputing some of the negative items off your credit before you apply, all right? This also helps you, okay? Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because I made the video about the Walmart and they use Synchrony, right? However, Walmart definitely will give you higher limits. However, you can use multiple cards and get the same amount of money through Capital One. Now, another thing that Capital One has over Walmart is that, especially as a business owner, like I told you about that Capital One Spark Classic card, as a business owner, when you set up your business bank account with them, they actually report your business transactions to the business credit bureaus. Okay, and so they're going to report it to Experian and Equifax. It'll be picked up with Small Business Financial Exchange, now, as well as Dun & Bradstreet. Why am I bringing this up? The reason I'm bringing this up is because with the Capital One, okay, this allows you to have a financial instrument reporting on the file. Now, for some people, they don't like the Capital One Classic Business Card because it reports both on the business as well as the personal. That's okay. The thing about it is you want the money, so you don't mind that it's actually reporting on both. All right, it's just a positive trade line. Long as you're gonna keep it under 10% utilization and they're continuing to report, you're gonna have the better leverage. All right, so that's what I wanted to share with you. Sorry guys, there's a lot of people around. But if you have any other questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description, schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.